Hello there. I'm outside the Cocoa Playhouse, home to the historic Cocoa Village Players here in Brevard County, Florida. It's a great venue and a real treasure of live theatre that SpaceCoastDaily.com is delighted to be showcasing for you. Let's check it out inside, shall we? We're watching rehearsals for Titanic the musical. They began early March, before the show opened at the Playhouse in Cocoa on April 6. A cast of 70 means it's a huge production to manage for the players' director, Anastasia Hawkins-Smith.
For me, I love working with large casts and I love working with musicals. And to present Titanic, especially at the 100th anniversary, it's just an honor for all of us. And each person in our cast has a name, and they're assigned to someone who was a passenger on the Titanic. And each day, we have had a fact of the day of Titanic. This entire time we've been rehearsing, so the cast members as well as myself are extremely connected to the musical, and it is brilliantly written. An honor to be presenting.
I'm a TV presenter from England, delighted to be guest reporting on this show for SpaceCoastDaily.com. And you know where I live? Southampton, England. Yes, Southampton. The very place from where Titanic set out on her maiden voyage exactly 100 years ago this month. Her tragic sinking on April the 14th, 1912 resonates deeply, not only in my hometown on the south coast of England, not only here on the space coast of Florida, but all around the world. There are many events and memorials taking place to mark the 100th anniversary of the sinking of Titanic, but most importantly, in Southampton, where many of the crew lived, in Belfast, where Titanic was built, in Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, renamed Cove in southwest Ireland, where Titanic stopped to pick up passengers, in New York, where Titanic was heading, and Halifax, Nova Scotia, where bodies from the lost ship were taken for burial.
The most intense challenge of all is the tiny space that we are working in, as well as trying to make the audience believe that the ship is really sinking at the end. Of course, we all know the story, right? We all know the story, but there's something about this Titanic, this musical, that pulls you in, and you're anticipating and waiting to see what happens next.
My name is Brian Smith, and I have the honor to portray the captain of the Titanic, Mr. Edward John Smith. Our show is historically based on real characters that were picked up after the sinking, both alive and dead. The challenge in trying to portray someone like Captain Smith is because he did not survive, and there's not a really whole lot of intricate history of him on the final voyage, that I just kind of have to take things very broad.
The historic Cocoa Village Players have been performing for 22 years. They attract around 55,000 people to their shows every year, and they not only put on at least 7 musicals, but also ballet and children's productions. There's a small paid staff, but the core of the Village Players is their volunteer cast of more than 600 actors and artists, technicians and ushers. Together, they give SpaceCoastDaily.com's community more than 100,000 hours of loyal and dedicated service.
This show has a lot of challenges for costume design. Not only is it a very period-specific show, it also has a lot of different classes and it has a lot of people occupying various roles. For the actors, it's quite a challenge to look like you're freezing cold in weather that's near zero and icebergs, and wearing tons of clothes when you're in a temperature where it's around 90 degrees. So trying to get the actors to look like they're cold when they're actually dripping sweat is quite an acting feat, and I credit our actors with being able to achieve that with Bravo.
I do all the hair, hats, and makeup here at Cocoa Village Playhouse. I have the fun of being able to create out of nothing beautiful, beautiful works of art. And I also do the makeup, any special effects makeup, and I design all the hair that goes on stage. I've been here for 19 years, and this is one of the shows that I've had to pull out creative thoughts for, you know. We've had to copy pictures, and we do research for a couple months before we open the show. So we've been doing research on Titanic for about 4 months.
The Village Players are putting on a total of 13 performances of Titanic the musical before the final curtain comes down on Sunday afternoon, April 22, although by popular demand they may squeeze in an extra performance or two. Details on their website.
They call me the Drama Mama because 22 years ago when I first started, we founded the Stars of Tomorrow program, and we began with 8 children, and it's now 250 children strong. And on Mother's Day, all the children together collectively named me Drama Mama because I very much am involved in their needs and helping to meet their needs as they grow into life.
I encourage everybody to come see the show because it is very beautifully written. Mr. Stone and Mr. Yeston have put together a dialogue and music that's both moving and educational and charming. It's a show that'll make you laugh and it'll make you cry. And even though we all know how the Titanic does end, you're cheering there to the very end that the inevitable doesn't happen.
You know, I flew out specially from England to report on this great show for the launch of SpaceCoastDaily.com, and I'll take back many great memories when I return to my home in Southampton, Titanic's spiritual home, where there are many memorials and graves associated with possibly the world's most tragic ship. It's been a real privilege to be here. I hope you get a chance to see this great show at the Playhouse too, as we all remember those who lost their lives with the sinking of Titanic, the ship they said was unsinkable. This is Keith Malone in Cocoa Village, Florida, reporting for SpaceCoastDaily.com.